the thing is, a lot of people, when I talk about, wine to them, they feel that they've got to spend a certain amount of money because it's the holiday season or it's a gift. How do you feel about that?
My philosophy is you shouldn't pay more for pleasure than you have to. And wine falls into that category. So I'm always looking for wines that taste twice as expensive as they cost. And so what a bargain is can mean different things to different people because it's that price-quality ratio. It doesn't mean just the absolute cheapest wine in the store. But I think these days there are a number of factors coming together in our favor such that we can get great wines under $15.
Under $15. Okay, that might surprise some people.
Yes.
So then what do I need to think about when I give wines as a gift?
Well, I think, if you can wrap a story around it, that's always good. So if you know that the person is of Italian heritage, why not try to get a bottle of wine that represents that? Maybe you met them or you toasted their first apartment with a certain bottle and you can get that wine, maybe a later vintage. A birth year is always good. That can be tough to find in stores, but maybe it's they got married 3 years ago, whatever. If you can put a little story around it, that's always good. Because the beauty of a gift of wine is doubles are okay. One size basically fits all, and regifting is so easy.
Okay. Now, I don't know if this is still a debate, but screw caps versus corks.
Right. Okay. Can we just agree that screw caps are okay? I know they have this sort of nasty hangover from the 70s when all sort of plonk was covered with a screw cap, but these days really good wines are closed with a screw cap. And the reason is that we found that wines that are covered this way don't have the risk of cork taint. Cork taint makes a wine smell like an old musty attic, kind of musty, wet cardboard. It's not nice. And it's just an interaction between natural cork that comes from the bark of a cork tree and the wine. There's a chemical reaction that can happen. Estimates say maybe it's 5 to 10% of wines out there on the shelves. There is no risk of that with a screw cap. Plus, you don't need any special implements to get into your wine. I can't imagine, even with beer, it's much easier to get into it. But, I think it takes away also the stigma or the snobbery of wine, the screw caps do.
Okay. Now, when you say can we get over it, is that just you talking? Or no, would that be the general opinion now among sommeliers and other wine experts?
Absolutely. I think those who taste widely and deeply know that there are so many good wines out there today with screw caps. If you look at New Zealand as an example, they have 1 or 2 main bottling plants, and they made a decision as an industry to go all screw cap. So when you go into the liquor stores, I challenge you to find one, a New Zealand wine, that is closed with anything but a screw cap. Mm. And they make great wines.
They certainly do.
Yes.
Now, let's stick close to home for this. If I do want to buy Ontario, what regions should I consider?
We have some really dynamic regions that are growing, and what I like is that they're very different. So Niagara is the classic. I mean, it's been around the longest, it's the largest, but the diversity of styles within Niagara alone is terrific. We've got robust reds, we've got the lighter Pinots, we've got Rieslings, zippy Rieslings, and we've got great sparkling wines. So, Niagara gives you lots of choice. It's kind of the blue chip, if you will, the most recognized region. But, what I'm really excited about these days is Prince Edward County, and that's up more north, if you will, and they have much harsher winters there, so they really struggle. But in wine, as in life, struggle is good, makes you stronger. But they really have to protect the vines up there. But what they produce are some spectacular Pinot Noirs and Rieslings because of that really chilly climate. So that's number 2. Let's see, we could go down to southwestern Ontario and Pelee Island, and we've got there you've got much warmer average temperatures, so you can get more robust reds. Number of producers down there doing some interesting things with classic like Cabernet Sauvignon and so on. And then finally, we actually have some wineries around Ottawa. Believe it or not, there are some masochists, but I think all winemakers are masochists. These just are a special type of masochist because it's so chilly.
Now, okay, yeah, I'm assuming you meant the weather, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I meant. Yeah, thank you for clarifying. But there's probably 5 or 6 wineries around there now that are trying, and it's a passion. So they're not going to replace Gallo anytime soon. The production, it won't be ever big, but it's just interesting to see what can come out of our different soils, different climates, climates and different pockets of the province.
Okay, here's a really practical question. If I'm going to a party and I would like to have a glass or maybe two, but I certainly do not want to overdo it.
Right.
Are there certain wines you can recommend that just won't push me over that line?
Absolutely. I think what you want to look for are low alcohol wines, and that doesn't mean that they're wimpy or without flavor. One of the best ones is Riesling, and we do it well. So does Germany, but Riesling...
What would be the alcohol?
It's only about, it can start as low as 7%, and, most dry Rieslings, maybe 9%, whereas an average table wine clocks it at around 12, 13%, and now we're seeing, these really ripe fruit bomb kind of wines, sometimes up in 15, 16%, like big California Reds or Australian Shirazes. So Riesling is a go-to. Similarly, you'd look at a cool climate red. Pinot Noir would be the red twin, so to speak, not clonally, but wine-wise, wine style-wise. It will also, from cool climates like Niagara or even France, will have a lower alcohol to it as well.
Okay.
That will be a bit higher. That will be more like, 11, 12% at least, yeah.
Are we seeing any trend right now towards a certain kind of wine? You know how we've gone through the Chardonnay and all those other ones. So
Right.
Is there anything right now?
Well, light, refreshing wines continue to grow exponentially. So Pinot Grigio, zippy white, I call it the sort of beige of wine. It won't offend anybody.
The beige of wine, I like that.
Pinot Grigio winemakers, you're going to hear from them. It is not, but it's yes, it is. Anyway, I'll get in the last word here. No, it's zippy and refreshing, but it's also not oaky, and it's not heavy in any of those polarizing kind of flavors. So it's so versatile as an aperitif, which is good at this time of the year,
right,
as a cocktail or whatever. Rosé, dry rosé continues to be.
Thank you.
Yes.
I like rosé. I remember when people kind of
Yeah,
rosé,
exactly.
as if it was sort of not really a wine.
Exactly. And in Unquenchable, I talk about rosé in the last chapter because I think it's one of those wines that is underrated, doesn't get respect because everybody thinks pink syrup or whatever. But, you can get some beautiful aromatic sort of fleeting aromas of field strawberries and raspberries, but it's bone dry. So it's great as an aperitif, goes with food.
And are you saying Canadian too?
Oh, absolutely.
Ontario rosé?
Oh,
okay.
yes. And, because we make a cool classic rosé that's very refreshing.
All right. Finally, we're heading, of course, into New Year's. Once we get past that, Christmas and holiday season, what about bubblies?
Okay, bubblies. So we know that only champagne comes from the Champagne region of France, and
Right.
you're going to start at about $60 or $70 entry level for a bottle. They're classic, they're toasty, they're great, and they're expensive. So I love to look at other regions, and I'll start right here in Ontario because, again, cool climate suits sparkling wine. You need lots of zesty acidity in a sparkling wine for it to be refreshing. So, some of my favorite producers are like Henry of Pelham's Catherine Brut and Huff Estates up in Prince Edward County. Nice sparkling wine up there. Mm-hmm. But we make some terrific sparklers, and they're about $25 to $30, whereas, your champagnes are $60 and up. Then you can go down to California if you like cooler areas of California do well. But two of the best regions for bargain-priced bubblies are Spain and Italy. So Spain has cavas, which means cave, and Italy has prosecco, and they'll range from $15 to $25. They're really reasonable, and so you don't have to break the bank to pour like Santa, save like Scrooge.
Exactly. This is what we like to hear.
Yes.
All right, we're going to end off because, of course, we've got to have some of your personal picks.
Sure.
Yeah. So bring it on.
Bring it. Okay, so I think I already let the cat out of the stocking here. I'm going to start with Henry of Pelham Catherine Brut Rosé. This is a Niagara bubbly. It is superb. I've had it in several restaurants now, and I would challenge you to blind taste it against a champagne and really tell the difference. It's remarkable in terms of just how close it is, shoulder to shoulder, quality-wise with champagne.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's terrific.
What's the price on that?
That's about $30.
That is about, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's what I'd start with. And then as the meal progressed, I
didn't know we were drinking these all at once, like in one night.
In my mind, we are.
Okay.
Yes. Mary, keep up. We need to get you out there practicing for the holiday season, Mary.
I'm not in training yet. Obviously, you've been.
I'm always in training. I never have an off season. So my next wine recommendation would be Taz Riesling from Niagara. One of our best producers, I have to say. It's been named Canadian Winery of the Year 3 times, as I think you know from past
more has been
discussions.
in, yes.
Exactly. But there's a reason for that. The Riesling I'm recommending is Sketches, and it's $17, and it's probably one of his lowest priced wines. His wines are, they're not inexpensive. They go up to $35 and $40. But again, it's the price quality ratio, what you get for what you pay. And when I taste a wine from his winery, I always think this tastes like twice as expensive. So anyway, I think it's still a bargain, even though it's not cheap.
All right.
So it's a terrific one. Good for turkey, by the way. It'll moisten turkey, especially if you cook turkey like we do and dry it out and then have to fix your cooking mistakes with wine.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Too long in the oven.
Yeah, exactly.
All that kind of stuff.
Just have the right wine.
And what about red?
Red, I would go with Le Clos Jourdain Pinot Noir. And beautiful. It's just cherry berry, but it's balanced. It's dry. It's just mouth-filling. It's filling. It's liquid silk, and we do it. Yeah, you're looking very thirsty.
No, I know.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and again, it's a great turkey wine. It's almost, and it'll go with the cranberry sauce and the side dishes. So, I think holiday meal we often have all the side dishes out. Why not have some reds and whites out for people to experiment and have fun with?
Okay, and Le Clos, where is that from?
That's Niagara as well.
That's Niagara
It
too.
is.
And what's the price on that?
That one is pricier as well. Like we start at $25. I'm recommending kind of splurgy bargain wines, if you will. I know I just canceled each other out, but I think at the holidays we like to maybe step it up a little. But still, the ones I'm recommending are bargains. They're phenomenal wines, and it's a good time of the year to try them.
Okay, they sound great. Now I've got to run out and get them before everybody else listening runs out and gets them too. Thanks, Natalie.
All right.
Happy
Thank you,
holidays
Mary.
to you.
You too. Cheers.